5-9, solving equations with rational numbers. This is the reason we did this chapter. You worked on solving equations earlier this year with basic numbers at the end of chapter 1. We did it again in chapter 2 when we introduced integers. Now we're going to introduce not only basic numbers and integers, but we're going to introduce fractions and decimals. So, and the theory behind it is the same. You follow the same rules, you ask the same questions, you answer them the same way. We just have fractions and decimals. Decimal problems, you can use a calculator. Fractional problems, you do not get to use a calculator. So, t minus 8.5 equals 2.1. What kind of equation is this? It's a subtraction equation. How do we solve subtraction equations? By addition. In this particular equation, what are we going to add? We're going to add 8.5 to both sides. Because you're such advanced math students, what happens to the 8.5s on the left-hand side? They cancel each other out. And we add on the right-hand side, that's going to be 6. And t is equal to 10.6. And there you go. You've solved equations. 4/5 x equals 16 over 25. I want you to be able to see something in this equation. In order to solve this equation, if it was 4 times x, we would divide both sides by 4. If it was x divided by 5, we would multiply both sides by 5 to solve this equation. In fact, what we're going to do is you're going to do both of them at the same time. We are going to multiply the entire equation by the reciprocal of the fraction that multiplies the x. I want you to be advanced math students and look at the left-hand side of the equal sign. What happens with the 5s? We have one on the top and one on the bottom. They cancel each other out. What happens with the 4s as well on the left-hand side? They cancel each other out as well. So now we just have x on the left-hand side of the equal sign. Very important, kind of a trick to begin with, but now that you see it, I want you to see that we're multiplying by the reciprocal, and the numerator and the denominator are going to cancel each other out. So on the right-hand side, we have 16 times 5 and 25 times 4. And when we multiply through, 16 times 5 is 80, and 25 times 4 is 100. And there you go, solving equations with multiplication and division as well. It actually ends up being both in the same problem by multiplying by the reciprocal. Your homework is on 246 and 247, problems 14 to 42, the evens.